Hello and welcome back to the Amber Wave Show. I am Stephen. There is no James because James is busy this week. Today we're going to review the last two games. Unfortunately, I'm not at the match tonight because I've got work, so James will review the match against Kirkley. But we'll also look at last Friday night when we took on Cheshunt Town Rangers for the second time in 13 days. Now, last time we came away with a decent 1-0 win against the fellow league side. And since we played them, they have since played 3 games where they've won 1, and that was against Thetford. And then they drew and lost 1, both of them being in the FA Cup to Holston. After drawing to them, they lost 4-0. Now, obviously, FA Trophy this past week. So on a warm, beautiful evening in summer at the Wellesley Stadium, the Amber and Black World Beaters took to the pitch and was clapped on in front of 276 fans, with about 30 to 40 of them being Cheshunt Town fans. The game kicked off as it did last time. 2 teams faced off against each other, trying to work each other out and trying to get it onto the front foot. Now, after a few shots from both sides, within the first 15 minutes, the most notable of the early exchanges fell to Louis Duffield, who from 30 plus yards out unleashed a good shot, forcing the former Cambridge United keeper into a save. Now, the game was mostly dominated by the Bloaters thereafter, and on the 30-minute mark, our magician Jesse Fenn got taken out in and around the 18-yard box. The referee pointed for a free kick. But after communication with the linesman believed it was inside the box, therefore, Great Yarmouth penalty. Cousins stepped up to take the penalty and fired it to the bottom right-hand side. The Cheshunt Town keeper got down well, and we all thought it was saved, but somehow the ball squeezed underneath him, and the linesman flagged that it had crossed the line. From where we were, we couldn't see if it did cross the line or not. There was one photo that we have seen of that penalty creeping under the goalkeeper, and we're not really convinced that it fully went over the line, but the angle isn't the best. But yeah, we're putting this picture up here so you can make your own decisions if you thought that was fully over the line or not. But yeah, here is the penalty goal.
Still going, that's a free kick. I tell you what, this race has been pretty good so far. Famous last words. Oh yeah! Well, we've had non-league VAR here. The ref's gone over to the lino and he's given a penalty. Remarkable scenes. George Cousins is on it. Obvious boost from the Cheshunt fans. Cousins steps up. Save! Hang on.
So obviously it was 1-0 to the Bloaters. Then less than 2 minutes later, after Jesse Fenn winning the penalty, Jesse Fenn then put through a brilliant pass through to Halliday, who fired it home from close range. And the 12 days of Halliday came out, and the goal is here.
Brilliant through ball. Halliday! Halliday! Sponsored by Gameday!
Cheshunt Town heads then seemed to dip a little bit, and with their frustration, they found themselves a few times in the referee's books, a lot for silly yellows. Now, the closing half of the Bloaters kept pressing, and Jesse Fenn again found himself in a brilliant position, and it was a beautiful cross over to Louis Duffield, who smashed the ball into the net to round off a great half for the Bloaters, where we went in at 3-0 up.
Barber down the left. Barber's ball in. Back stick. Duffield! 10!
Now, usually we would also go on in the ins and outs of the second half, but that's usually because stuff happens in the second half. That really wasn't the case too much. So Yarmouth and Cheshunt, they both did have chances, but neither of them could find the back of the net. There was one moment of magic where Cheshunt Town's Jackman did unleash a brilliant shot, but it smashed against the crossbar. Now, in the closing stages, Boast, the youth player for the Bloaters, came on for what we believe is his debut. Pretty sure it's his debut. But yeah, he had a pretty good game in the closing moments for his debut, and to get a 3-0 win on your debut is always good. Overall, the game finished like it did in the first half, with the score being Great Yarmouth Town 3, Soham Town 0. So overall, brilliant games, players, top blokes. We always show our appreciation to both the teams, clap them both off with the full-time whistle. A good match, good authoritative refereeing as well. 3-0 win through to the next round of the FA Vars, where we will be up against the United Counties League side Ainsley Rovers. Now on to the second match of this week, where on Wednesday, just gone, or I'm recording this on Wednesday, so for me it's this evening, but when you see it, it's a couple of days ago. We are back in league action, or have been back in league action, against Kirkley and Pakefield, who have already played in the FA Cup this season, won 2-0. Tonight I'm not there because of work commitments, so it has chopped and changed a little bit. I'm in a different shirt just because there was some technical difficulties, so we couldn't get James's video on, but I have done the rundown of the game, but in a different shirt on a different day. On a lovely summer's evening in Great Yarmouth, we faced local rivals Kirkley and Pakefield. Kirkley and Pakefield sat before the game in 7th, and they came into it looking for revenge after their exit from the FA Cup by the Bloaters. Now, in the early stages of the game, it was pretty even. 20th minute mark, Kirkley did have their first sight at goal, but went straight into Brandon Ling's arms. On the half-hour mark, Halliday was making a fantastic run into the box, couldn't get a clean header on it, and went wide. On the 36th minute, Wilson Towns also tried his luck with a volley, which once again went wide. We had only really had a few chances during that first half. However, 2 minutes after that, some very good build-up play on the left-hand side. The ball reached the outstretched foot of Fenn, who nicely and clinically put Yarmouth 1-0 up.
Halliday, no, well, I don't know who that was. Ball in, header, oh, mistake! Yes! Get in there!
And that was pretty much it for the first half. The referee had a busy game from all accounts, dishing out 5 yellow cards in a feisty derby. I know that there was a lot of questions being asked. However, yeah, it is what it is. Jesse Fenn, though, was particularly receiving a few hefty tackles from the Kirkley defenders, but you know the saying, if you can't beat him, foul him. In the second half, the 52nd minute, the Bloaters deservingly grabbed an all-important second goal cushion when Belmar shot from 10 yards out, rattled against the post before the ball rebounded to Duffield, who made no mistake in smashing it home to make it 2-0.
It goes long and looking for, is that Spooner? Oh, touch! Another shot! On the layup! Shoot! Off the post! Duffield surely!
And on the hour mark, a long-range free kick from Kirkley and Pakefield from 40 yards out, sailed into the 6 yards box, not picked up by Ling, and somehow went into the net. At the time, the Kirkley and Pakefield, that was the lifeline for them. However, it was not coming. We ended up winning 2-1, making it 7 wins out of 7. And I believe there was a good 20 minutes of added time plus over the 2 halves, which is crazy. And the attendance was 189.
They haven't got a number 8, I don't think. Oh, Henry Pollock, it must be. Oh, header, Tim! Tim! And Kirkley are back in it. We'll find out who scored in just a second.
Now, looking forward to the next match, where we play on Sunday in the FA Cup against Isthmian Premier League side Cheshunt at the Wellesley. And the reason we are playing this on a Sunday and not a Saturday is because Galston are also still in the FA Cup and they're ground sharing. They have also been drawn at home on the FA Cup, but because they're in a higher league, they take priority, even though they're ground sharing with us. But I'm sure their 50 fans will be very happy about that. It's not ideal, obviously. Obviously, we want to be playing on Saturdays, but it is what it is. We deal with it. Me and James, we're going to have a quick turnaround from Norwich to Yarmouth, though, because we are playing a charity match in the early afternoon and then heading straight over to that 2 o'clock kickoff, so we can support the Bloaters. Now, Cheshunt, they have played 5 games so far in the league this season, where they have won 1, drew 2 and lost 2. They have not won away from home yet this season and sit in the lower half of the league table. Now, obviously, this is the first game in the FA Cup for them. This is their entry round for them. So it's going to be a very hard game against higher league opposition. Yes, we beat Cambridge City in the last round, and they're higher league opposition, but this is 2 levels higher. Cambridge City last season did seem to struggle in the league. I think a lot of that was because of the league they were placed in, because they got put in the Midlands League somehow. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a harder task. They're in a higher league. They've had a better record. So we'll see how that goes. Now, I think the score is going to be 2-1 to Yarmouth. I think we are going to get through it. I think the home advantage and fans and pitch and all of that stuff is going to work in our favour. So I do think we are going to win 2-1. And obviously James isn't here with me, but I will put James's prediction here. Now that is all that we have time for this episode. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and everything else. We'll be back next week. Hopefully James will be here as well next week. And yeah, we can go into all of that good stuff. So thanks ever so much for watching. And as always, up the Bloaters.